But now that restriction is gone. Some of the seniors may be knowing this. There was a limit like NBFC. So I could have invited 5 million, $500,000 pound from my UK investor, made the movie here and give him the rights which are available to him, but for the subsidy which is available in the UK. So business model is also very important. I can't get away with my subsidy if structure does not permit me. They cannot take this advice. They will walk away from your office. Oh, this consultant doesn't understand our business model. He's asking us to change my business model. What kind of consultant you are? This is really happening. He will not tell you if he's a nice person, but he will never see your face again. So you don't ever ask businessman to change his model from your office. Tell him this is a possibility, unless you give him more facts. But if you tell him to change the business model, he will change you definitely. So this is very important. Never ask any businessman to become non-resident Indian for your planning. Never ask him to change his business model for your understanding of the law. They always have moved 5 places and coming to you as a 6th place. So never underestimate the business people and ask them to change the business model. And this is my limited experience. You are all seniors, you are all more successful than me, but this is what I am sharing my experience. So that could have been very simple, but which is not possible. I can't get away with my subsidy. Don't do this. Then how to do it? The second model is the borrowing from the UK co-producer. I borrow it and then I make the movie and say that the borrowing amount was the consideration for the purpose of worldwide rights except India. Again, it's a current account transaction. But can I borrow? I cannot borrow. There is a question in the brain trust session that can a production of the film be a capital and therefore ECB is allowed. So subject to that, if the answer is okay, but if the answer is no, it's not an ECB, then you cannot borrow also. Because borrowing has to be for more than 3-year period. The interest rate is 300 basis point. Which producer will ask you, okay, give me 300 basis point instead of 50% profits? So it's not possible. So the borrowing, the film cost is not possible. The inviting FDI is not possible. Then what is possible? Then we thought of forming a unincorporated structure, unincorporated association. That the Indian producer will contribute 300,000, the foreign contributor will spend 700,000. These are the activities of Indian producer. These are the activities of the foreign producer. They will distribute the gross revenue in this fashion. That means Indian cost of the production as well as the star cast 300,000 will be spent by the Indian producer. The foreign cost will be produced by the foreign producer. They both work as a principal to principal basis and then say that at the end of the day, after recouping the charges for the theatre, after recouping the certain fixed cost, we will share the revenue in a form of 70:30 worldwide basis or foreign rights to foreign producer, Indian rights to Indian producer. If you make this arrangement, it is a current account transaction. It is a current account transaction because you are buying for your goods and you are spending for your goods and you are getting the revenue on your own without dependence on third party, without creating any assets and liabilities abroad. Is that clear to all of you? Again, borrowing doesn't take place. See, the film production, normally distributor and the financer is always asking 50% minimum share of profit. And further conditions, no. If your movie is flop, I want minimum 40% on my investment. So, if a UK producer happens to be a financer, the UK producer wants at least 40% on 700,000 as the revenue. So, all these aspects cannot work in a capital account transaction or in a ECB or in any other form except unincorporated JV with a recoupment schedule. When you make projects, like okay, first 100,000 will go to him, second 100,000 will go to him, next if there is a surplus, will go to 50-50. So if the recoupment schedule in an unincorporated fashion has been worked out, it will work as a current account transaction. You won't need any foreign company, you will not need any borrowings, you will not need anything else. Also, it facilitates you. On the contrary, you will add some value to the client. Say, okay, see, if you were to invest in UK company, 300,000 pound, you had to buy foreign exchange. You have to enter into ODI. You will lose money in exchange control because you are receiving and going, there is some loss, right? And you are taking exchange risk. Instead of that, I am asking you to spend in rupee only. And that gentleman, I am asking you to spend in GBP only. Okay? So you are bettering the solution of the client without changing the model. And therefore, that is a workable solution for the Indian movie house producing the movie in a co-production with the UK film producer. And also getting the subsidy.
Sir, in that scenario, the legal right of the movie lies in the UK, and we get the right in India. So it would be the case of a netting of both the things.
Is it a question or you are supplementing my view?
No, I am raising a question that I think we have to take approval from the AD because I am getting rights of the Indian movie.
No, I'm saying you invest 700,000 in the project. You are a co-producer, right? I'm giving you a status of a co-producer. So there are joint rights, right? He's a co-producer, right? So I'm saying, being a co-producer, you are holding the worldwide rights other than India. As a co-producer, I am holding Indian rights. Few copyrights cannot be held jointly. It can be, right? Isn't it? That's all.
Will it not lead to AOP?
That's why it's an unincorporated JV, which is not an AOP, which we have an ongoing controversy on the UPC contract in India. I agree with you. But this type of structures in movie works very well. So you are avoiding the valuation of the foreign company also. Now we come to case study 6 on the guarantee by person resident in India in favor of foreign loan subsidy. Again, a law point, interpretation point. The point is very simple. This is a structure. ABC, Indian company, owns 74% of XYZ. XYZ owns Element SA 77% and 23% it owns to a 100% subsidiary in Singapore. The Singapore is missing here. XYZ IIPL is a Singapore company. Of course, it doesn't make much difference for our consideration, but this is our own case study, so I know that it's a Singapore company. Now the question arose as to under. The XYZ wanted to help Element SA for the funding of 10 million US dollar, 10 million euro, because Element SA is in Spain. So 10 million euro facility was to be arranged by XYZ. XYZ said, okay, my company, parent company ABC is very powerful, it will give you a corporate guarantee. Then a bank, AAA bank in India, say Axis Bank, was approached. First, the Axis Bank agreed that okay, if ABC gives the guarantee to the bank, we will, through our branch in Switzerland, through our branch in Spain, grant the loan of 10 million euro to Element SA. That was the agreed arrangement. But once the arrangement was okay, almost finalized, the bank was not comfortable with the arrangement. The bank said, we are not comfortable with this arrangement, but we can directly grant loan to Element USA from India, based on the corporate guarantee of the ABC. So that was agreed. Okay, the bank in India will grant a loan to Element SA for 10 million US dollar. The back-to-back arrangement is not like by the Reserve Bank of India. The letter of comfort was to be given by XYZ and the corporate guarantee was to be given by ABC to the Indian bank. Indian bank will give a SPLC to the foreign branch of an Indian bank in Spain, and based on the SPLC, this loan was to be granted to LMNSA. So the SPLC was back-to-back utilized. So government, the Reserve Bank is not happy with the SPLC arrangement, which is back-to-back through a different bank. The bank branch outside India is a different bank. So therefore, direct arrangement was worked out. Now the question arose as to under that the Indian company can invest 100% of the capital into LMNSA, which is XYZ. What is the law? It says it can use the net worth of its parent as well as its subsidiaries if they are in India. Is that clear to you? It can use the net worth of a parent or a net worth of a subsidiary, 51% parent, 51% subsidiary, not otherwise. Then we further say that these 100% which can be remitted abroad should be formed part of following. 1. The equity capital in cash. 2. The loan amount to LMNSA. And 3. The guarantees provided by Indian party. The guarantees provided by Indian party. So that 100% is comprising of 3 parts. If your net worth of all the companies put together is $100, then you can do $100 of equity plus guarantee plus loan, all 3 put together $100 only. If a guarantee is given for $100, you can't give guarantees. If a loan is given for $100, you can't give equity. So if you give equity, then only you can give loan and guarantee. That is also a provision. You must have learned that from Nishit Parik's presentation, that Indian party giving equity can only give guarantees and the loans. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
It can use the net worth of both the parties, but it has to remit the equity so that we can give guarantee, we can give loans. Now the question arises whether LMNSA is a first level subsidiary or a step down subsidiary of ABC while giving guarantee in favor of the Indian bank on behalf of LMNSA. The guarantee provision is like this, that if a guarantee is given to the WOS on behalf of WS, it is valid. But if it is to be given for a step down subsidiaries, then RBI approval is required. So the question is whether it could be treated as a step down subsidiary or it is a first subsidiary of ABC. Because ABC is giving a guarantee on behalf of LMNSA. Because LMNSA is getting the banking facility. This is the question. Now how do we resolve this question? Answer is very simple. You know, no. It is a first subsidiary. Is that answer is different with anybody? Is a first subsidiary or a step down subsidiary? LMN is a subsidiary of ABC or a step down subsidiary of ABC? That is the question. Because if it is a step down subsidiary of LMN, ABC, then you can't give guarantee under automatic route. Otherwise you can give. So the question is whether it is a first subsidiary or a step down subsidiary. That is the question. Anybody? Use the knowledge of notification 120, not company law. No answer?
Step down.
It is a step down subsidiary, not a subsidiary. Okay? Anyone other answer? Different answer? So same answer. All of you are on the same answer. So I am a divergent. It is not a step down subsidiary, it is a subsidiary. Now how to look at this issue? You have the definition of Indian party while making investment abroad. That the Indian parties as defined under notification can only invest abroad. What is defined as Indian party? Is defined? Indian party is any companies in India or a body corporate which is constituted under any statutory law or any other entities notified by the Reserve Bank of India. Provided further that if a more than one party is investing from India, then both together will constitute Indian party. Is that clear to you? If more than one party is investing abroad in a similar venture, then both together constitute Indian party. That means Indian party definition includes all the investors from India in a one jacket compartment. and all put together will constitute Indian party. Therefore, here XYZ is investing with the help of ABC. So both together will constitute Indian party, and therefore element becomes their first subsidiary and not the second subsidiary, or not a step level subsidiary. Because Indian party is making investment abroad. Now, coming to the variation. The other view is like this, that A, B, C and XYZ and XYZ IIPL are the three partners sharing 100% equity of the LMNSA. In LMNSA, 23% is owned by XYZ and XYZ is owning 77%. So it is a joint venture outside India. It is not a WOS. Now, other view is that you forget about XYZ IIPL, and then whether it be a joint venture. If an LMNSA is owned 100% by XYZ and ABC, can it be termed as joint venture? Answer is no, because ABC and XYZ together constitute Indian party. Indian party together with an outsider in element becomes a joint venture. Element remains 100% subsidiary of Indian party, because there is no third party involved other than Indian party for the purpose of considering whether it is a joint venture or WS. Is that clear to all of you? And therefore, element SA is WOS, not a step down WS. And therefore, guarantees can be given under the automatic route of notification 120 by ABC. Now, slight diversion and the issue from this question. The second question is whether guarantee can be given by ABC or not. Now, what are the provisions? It says guarantee includes 100% of the guarantee given by the bank on your behalf, 100% of the guarantee given by you as a corporate guarantee, and 50% of the performance guarantee given by the Indian party. However, the other provisions of the law says that an Indian party wanting to give guarantee and the loan should have invested in the equity capital of the foreign WOS. That is another condition. So both these work in divergence. Master Circular says that in order to give guarantees, your promoter company, your sister company, etc. can give guarantee. The main notification says if a guarantee is to be given, if a loan is to be given, then you must have invested into the equity of the foreign company. Here, ABC has not invested in LMNSA. This is the question for consideration. XYZ is used net worth for the purpose of computation of ABC, but ABC actually has not invested in the capital of LMNSA. Therefore, can the guarantee be given? Because only Indian party can give the guarantee. If ABC has not invested, it doesn't become the Indian party. Therefore, the question is, can you suggest something so that there are no doubts in the minds of ABC, so that guarantees can be given under the automatic route? Suggestion is very simple. Ask ABC to contribute 1% of the equity into element, or one share is enough. However, the intention as it drafted, that ABC may not be asked to contribute towards the equity of the element. That is how it is worded. But the notification, sub-regulation 4, goes very clearly against the provision in the Master Circular, that Indian party can contribute towards the loan as well as guarantee only if it is invested in the equity capital. So that was the main question on the interpretation of case 25. Guarantee, question for consideration, and these are all, long funda. This is all circular. Indian party definition, constitute one unit, plural is included. Whether guarantee can be issued by ABC Limited? Answer yes and no. And question B, whether element is a first level first step down subsidiary or a second level step down subsidiary for Indian party that intends to issue a corporate guarantee to AAA Bank, India, for the purpose of providing the facility of euro 10 million US dollar? We already know the answer, that yes, it can give, because it is a step down subsidiary, not a, it's a WO, it's not a step down subsidiary. And in order to avoid any issues, maybe 1 or 2 shares may be issued. But in corporate governance and the way corporate work, it is not simple and suggest them that okay, you issue 1 shares. It may take some time. You know, large corporates hold board meeting for investment or other purposes after 2 months, 3 months. These decisions are not normally delegated to the committee of the directors. So therefore, the solution may not work everywhere. And in that case, you may approach RBI and get a clarification that we want to do this. ABC want to give guarantee. Our understanding is like this. Can you just let us know that it is permitted? So then RBI will help you in clarifying these doubts.
The official clarification on this year, what?
There is no official clarification on this. None of the question and case studies are on straight jacket formula, because it is having certain issues where there are no clarifications. None of the case study you will find that there are, the circular and it is found here. There are issues that only you have considered. Otherwise, you have come all the way from Ahmedabad, not for that, right? Asking me to read the circular which is there. I assume that way while drafting the case study. Next question is on the recognition of investment in overseas subsidiary. This will take 5 minutes only on this case study. Any question on the last case study?
Last I have a question.
Please.
Suppose, in case of that, the rights on the film production, suppose somebody wanted to have some printing activity, for example, in UAE. One company is already been floated in UAE. I cannot form a company here 100%. Can I do a similar structure by creating a unstructured joint venture kind of things? I remit the money over there, buy certain goods from the various destinations, and I hold the rights that whatever goods are purchased to be imported in India, and then I can do the business without any hurdles.
Yes, I will give you the example only on film production. See, most of the Indian companies which are carrying out their shooting outside India, in Africa, in Europe, in Russia, everywhere, how do they do this transaction? Some of the transactions have been reported in the newspaper in a wrong manner. 3 or 4 years ago, one of the production house, a female executive, was caught by the enforcement director on the airport, saying that you are carrying so much traveler's check with you in contravention of the FEMA. And the shooting was carried out in Africa. That's not important. But you are carrying out substantially large activity outside India. Still you are holding rights in India without going to RBI. That's your question. You cannot go to RBI, or you don't want to go to RBI, or you wish. There is always wish. It is possible only if it is structured as a current account transaction and not otherwise. That's a first and foremost principle of any transaction. When you carry out shooting outside India, it's an Indian movie. You are paying it to either Indian star cast, or a foreign star cast, or a foreign choreographer, or a foreign dancer, or a foreign technicians. The Indian producer is buying under the current account rules for a business visit, 25,000 US dollar each for various people who are carrying cash in traveler's check form. It's a business visit. And under certain declaration that you are carrying these traveler's checks, or I am making remittance in the foreign account, because it's the branch now. shooting place in a branch outside India, and you want to spend for purchasing the or filming or taking the video film or making a cassette out of that shooting to bring it back to India. So remit whatever money you want, remit whatever travelers checks you want to carry, spend it for the shooting outside India, come back with that shooting clips. It's a current account transaction. It's a current account transaction. In doubt? Pradeep, it answers your question. I don't want to divert from the case study, so I just coined it, in the manner in which you question, because then others will not be beneficial. Is that clear to all of you? The Thomas Cook is the agency. If you want to do a transaction in Bollywood for shooting outside India, they understand the law, they understand the procedure very much. This is only my experience with the film industry. They are very popular, they are very fast. So we go to next case study, 7A. I said 11 to 14 is 7A, 7B, 7C is there, that's right. They are all relating to the overseas investment. So I club it as 7. It's a very simple case study this is. ABC is a company incorporated under Indian Companies Act. XY is a company incorporated in Singapore on 1st October 2011. Upon incorporation, one share of US of Singapore $1 representing 100% of capital of the company was allotted to a resident of Singapore. Of course, at the request of the Indian company. The shares were transferred or share was transferred, S has to be removed. Share was transferred by a resident shareholder to ABC Limited on 25th October 2011 after 25 days. But yet no remittance has been made to resident shareholder toward the purchase consideration. Question for consideration is, the query seeks clarification and recognition of investment in its books of accounts made outside India by way of purchase, pending the payment of consideration to the seller and compliance with the Foreign Exchange Management Act framework. When they purchase the share, they did not remit anything. Can they record this transaction in the books of accounts? That is the question. Or they are obligated to record this transaction. That is the question. The subject to the corporate governance and the accounting treatment that the corporate may be following. The provisions of notification 120 triggers only if remittance is made by filing form ODI. Otherwise, it does not trigger. There is no obligation on your part under notification 120 to record this transaction in your books of accounts. That is the answer. Because all happens only if remittance is triggered and not otherwise. Without remittance, you are not required to report anything to the Bank of India. If you switch the language of notification 120, regulation 6 into bracket 2, that only that triggers on remittance of the money. So that is the answer. That is subject to corporate governance and the accounting policy followed by the Indian corporates, which is not subject matter of by decision. Offline.
Can it not be considered as borrowing, sir, when the share is transferred, $1 share by this company?
There is no obligation to pay. He has formed company 10-15 days ago. He did not ask me anything.
Can it be accepted?
It is like this. You form the company on behalf of your client under the auspicious belief that he will pay some point of time. But there is no obligation on his part to pay you, and you are not creating any assets in your books. It is like that.
Can it be paid in transfer share?
Shares are transferred now. So until the shares are transferred and remittance is made, there is no responsibility under notification 120. That's what I am saying. I am talking only 120. If you create a liability in your